This episode was sponsored by Girls Can Crate, a subscription box inspiring girls to believe that they can be and do anything. Real women make the best heroes, and every month they deliver them to your front door. And by Ellen Gross, Jill Harrigan, Chantel Oliver, Jamie Lang, Mandy Booty, Mari B. Hedgecoth, Monique Harris-Pixado, Craig Williamson, Tracy Newman, and Madison Chippendale. Thank you so much for being our sponsors. We couldn't do it without you. You can become a sponsor for as little as $1 a month. Just click donate on our website. Happy Halloween, Olivia!
Happy Halloween!
Ooh, it's spooky season, finally.
It's been spooky for a while, but now it's fun spooky season.
Right. Yeah, I've been saying actually that it's been so fascinating to watch America take refuge and comfort in Halloween.
Yeah.
And in death and fear and all the grisly parts of
Yeah. At least we can control the horror when we're doing it ourselves.
October has, for millennia, it's been the season of that veil between our world and the other world being very thin. It's something to do with October 31st and November 1st being a cross-quarter day. It's halfway in between the equinox and the solstice.
Oh.
That's what makes the veil thin, apparently. But in a magical place called the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico, the veil has always been very thin. According to the ancient Maya, our world and the underworld, they are right on top of each other. And you can access the underworld at any time, which means the underworld can access us at any time.
Oh.
And when I was there a couple of months ago, I heard a story that I keep thinking about. While I was in a town called Valladolid, I met a man named Jesus Antonio Cupul Cetzal.
Hola, mi nombre es Jesús Antonio Cupul Cetzal. Soy de aquí de Valladolid, Yucatán.
And he speaks Mayan, Spanish, and English.
Acaba Jesús Antonio Cupul Quetzal. Okay. My name is Jesus. From here, from Valladolid, Yucatán.
He told me a story that was told to him by his grandparents, and they heard it from their grandparents, who heard it from their grandparents. It goes all the way back. The story of a woman named Xtabay. Xtabay lived many centuries ago. We can't be sure when, but she's still around today.
Ooh.
This is the story of a woman and her sister, but really, it's a story about the darkness within us all. And that's what makes it so Halloween-y. And this time of year, and maybe 2020 in general, I think we've all become more painfully aware of the darkness, the human potential for giving in to our darker impulses. And the possibility that, given the right amount of pressure, that monster within could be unleashed in all of us. I think homeschooling parents know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
And this story is this ancient Mayan tale that, to me, explores in an amazing way our potential for darkness. Like, it's the question of who is evil and what makes a person evil. But Xtabay, she was kind and good.
Good.
But she isn't anymore.
Oh, no.
I'm Katie Nelson.
And I'm Olivia Mickle.
And this is What's Her Name?
Fascinating women you've never heard of.
The history of the Xtabay began a long time before of the wars here in Mexico. It's like the story of the grandparents, and it comes, for example, my grandparents to tell me the Xtabay, and their grandparents is like this.
Yeah.
Yes.
All the way back?
Yes. All the people.
So, once upon a time, there was a woman named Xtabay.
Xtabay is a lady. It's a lady from family, but it's a good lady with long black hair and with a white dress. Like it's a dress called here in Yucatan, ipil or huipil. It's a dress from here.
She's very beautiful. But that beauty didn't spoil her. She wasn't vain. She wasn't selfish. She was generous, caring, kind.
She helped to the old men with some very, very much things. And all the people of the town didn't understand why the lady helped other old men.
She cared for abandoned animals.
Aww.
She would travel huge distances to care for villages that everybody had fallen ill. She had a heart of gold.
Right.
Xtabay.
That's Disney princess level.
Yeah, but no.
Oh.
But no, because the other key thing to know about Xtabay is that she's a liberated woman, so to speak. She believes in free love.
Ah. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
not a
so-
Disney princess.
Yeah,
No.
but that's what makes her so interesting. She's dangerous, but good. She's got a sister.
Utzcolel, or in Spanish, la más bonita. And it was very nice, but was a bad person.
Cold, cruel, selfish. But she obeyed all the rules. She also kind of sucks. Who is the monster? Where does the darkness lie?
Yay, complicated.
Yes.
The Utzcolel start to talk something bad about Xtabay. So, and start to say to the fathers, to the other people, then the Xtabay is making something bad, but it was not. She was only helping to other people.
Utzcolel, she can't handle it. She spreads a rumor, or the truth, that her sister is a loose woman, but she goes farther than that.
Start to think that it was a, ¿cómo se dice? Es como una prostituta. Prostitute. But it was not like this. She was a very good lady.
I mean, what did Utzcolel think was gonna happen? She probably wasn't expecting what actually happened, which is pretty grisly.
Ooh.
So one night,
Xtabay was walking home alone at night.
all the young men was drunk and followed this lady. And they, como se dice, la violan and to kill the lady.
Murdered.
Oh.
And left at the
Oh.
base of a tree.
Ooh.
Yeah. See, we like our Halloween specials to be grisly, but not like real.
Yeah.
We want darkness, but not
Yeah.
real darkness. But this is the key part of the story because it explains everything that has happened ever since.
When the men killed the lady, happened in one tree. They call it yasche. In Spanish, ceiba. Ceiba is a tree.
They say her body was found lying at the foot of a ceiba tree, looking peaceful
It began to smell like flowers.
and surrounded by flowers that had bloomed all around her overnight. They're called Xtabentun.
It's like something sweet.
Utzcolel, she's freaking out, so she rips up all of the flowers, just tears them out of the ground, and immediately they grow back. Okay, so she's the key geographical feature here is this ceiba tree that she is killed at the base of. The ceiba tree is a huge deal in Mayan culture. All the way back, it's the tree of life. It's also called the green tree which is the color of creation. Sometimes they call it the first tree. Biologically speaking, it's such an interesting tree. It's native to the rainforest. It can grow up to 230 feet high.
Whoa.
Its trunk is absolutely covered in spines, like spikes that are...
I've seen those. They're terrifying looking.
Yeah, at a distance, it's amazing. Then you get closer and you're like, yikes.
Yeah.
Here in Yucatan, it's like a symbol, the tree, ceiba. Well, there is a beer here in Yucatan with this name, because it's like a symbol from here, from Yucatan. Ceiba beer and the ceiba tree.
They're so humongous, and they have a really distinct shape. Their roots are insane. They go penetrate deep down into the ground, but they also kind of heap up over the ground.
Yeah, it looks like if a mangrove tree got suddenly landlocked or something. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good way of describing it. And like if you picture the mangrove roots, but then times them by 10.
If Tim Burton designed a tree, that's what it would look like.
Exactly. There's no more Halloween-y tree than this tree. And so it's got these crazy gnarly roots and then spines all the way up its massive trunk, and the trunk can be like 10 feet across.
Yeah.
But no branches. It's just a spiky trunk up into the canopy, 200 feet up in the air, and then this lush canopy.
Yeah.
And so it was a sacred tree of the Maya because they said the roots reach down into the underworld. The spines and the trunk, that's our world. And then the canopy reaches up into the heavens. And that is the tree at the roots of which Xtabay died.
Oh.
So this is the reason why the ceiba tree is the biggest, because it's a cementerio, ¿cómo se dice?
Cemetery?
Cemetery, yes, of the men's.
Oh.
Yes.
So all the men
All
make
the drunk.
the tree grow?
Yes, all the souls of the drunk men is the men.
She sucked them down into the underworld.
Through the tree?
Through the roots of the tree.
Ah, cool.
The larger the tree, the more souls have fed that tree.
Ah.
And she's still doing it.
Since this event, all the men that are drunks can see a beautiful lady with long hair, cabello largo, in one tree.
She dwells at the roots of all ceiba trees. That is her window into our world. And she's angry.
Down of the tree, there is this lady. So when some drunken men can see one lady, it's a beautiful lady. Comes some words, and she
lures them over,
takes the drunken men,
and then sucks them down into the underworld, and they are never seen again.
For revenge.
So the bigger the tree, the more you should watch out.
Cool.
When I was a kid in a small town, it's called Yalcoba, there is a very big tree with a hole in the tree. So my parents told me then too many men go there. And the tree is next to cenote.
Yeah.
Yes. So I don't know if some accident go with the cenote or go at the hole of the tree, but too many people say the Xtabay go out and take the man and take to the tree.
Wow.
And I know too many men tell me then drink something and go someplace, and when to see at the tree, the drunkard is come down. It comes like a normal, because they don't want to see the woman, because too many people say it's a dangerous woman.
Yes. Wow.
Yes.
So, now who's evil?
Men. Oh.
Drunken men. Xtabay, she died soon after Xtabay.
So some days later died Xtabay, and when she died,
Her body too was surrounded by flowers
smell like,
after she died. But the flowers are called sakam flowers. They grow on a spiny, horrible cactus, and they are extremely stinky.
algo que apesta, like a stinky, stinky. Yeah.
Now, is this just an old story that people tell, or is it actually true? Jesus has no doubt. He has seen her. Do people still see her?
Yes. Yes.
Have you seen her?
One time, I don't know. It's one day. It was driving with my partner with no people there, no house, no. There was a big tree of the ceiba. So there we got to see one lady, one with a white dress with a long hair. So I told to my partner, just accelerate because and was the night, was at the half night. This is the time to the people say start to begin to.
That's when she comes out
at
night. And because of Xtabay, he and his friends and his family, they avoid going out at night.
Wow.
In the Mayan world, we can to make something at the day, only the day when there is the sun, because when the sun is gone, and it's the time for to sleep, because it's the time for other souls or the bad souls comes here every night.
And that includes Xtabay, and she is not friendly.
I think is angry because she only made something good for the other people.
The roots of the ceiba tree, and where she sucks them down into the underworld. That underworld, they can see it. It's not mysterious. It is there. It's in the cenotes that we talked about in the Zazalha episode.
Oh, yeah.
They can see it. It's right there. And Jesus says that he would never go in a cenote at night.
When all the tourists are there.
Exactly.
All of these dumb American tourists that are nourishing these ceiba trees.
No. No.
Not only do the dumb tourists go in the cenotes at night, they pay to do it.
And they get super drunk.
Yeah.
Well, that is an excellent way. I'm sure the women make sure that all of the men know that story very well.
Indeed. Yeah, and it's like Xtabay's revenge. She is like making sure that it doesn't happen to anybody else, and she has been making sure for centuries.
Right now, many of our listeners are probably in the same situation that we are, trying to cope with a back to school that doesn't look anything like what we or our kids are used to. And that's why it really is the perfect time to start a subscription to Girls Can Crate. Every month, they'll deliver a brand new real-life shero to your front door, introducing kids to a fascinating woman who changed the world, complete with a gorgeous 28-page activity book, all the materials for 2 to 3 STEAM activities like experiments, art projects, and more. Girls Can Crate is a lifesaver for anyone trying to homeschool, hybrid school, or just entertain their kids, and it's a wonderful educational surprise for any kid from ages 5 to 10. And for busy families, they have mini crates and digital subscriptions too. Check them out now at girlscancrate.com, and don't forget to use the code HERNAME, all one word, to get 20% off your first crate on any subscription. girlscancrate.com. Get it for your kid. Keep it for yourself.
According to Mayan myth, and according to Jesus today, people go in to cenotes and they never come out. It is so common that for all of ancient Mayan history, you do not go in a cenote.
Wow.
And we know this because archaeologically, we see that that's where they throw their dead. That's where they leave offerings to gods. Do you remember Gabo from the Zazalha episode?
Yeah.
He has a couple of cenotes on his property, and he says they find stuff in it all the time. Like, there are thousands of artifacts in cenotes, metal objects and skeletons and other things that the Maya have thrown into the underworld over the course of centuries and centuries. In Gabo's cenote, there's 3 skulls of babies. It's just right there, and they just do not disturb them.
Wow.
It's the great unknown. This whole network of cenotes, it's thousands of miles of underground rivers. Most of it has not been excavated.
Yeah.
And almost none of them have even been mapped.
Wow.
So amazing. And so, you can picture how if you go into a cenote, you're swimming around. And this was my experience too. I was kind of freaked out because I had already heard this story from Jesus about what the cenotes are about. And then I go swimming like a tourist on all these different cenotes. Yeah. And in many of them, you can see this is where a river breaks off from this cenote, and you can even feel the current kind of pulling you through this tunnel in the stone. It's easy to imagine how people who would go swimming just get sucked down this current, and there you are in this endless network of underground rivers, and you're never coming back out.
Yeah. I've been in the equivalent of these in Belize, but the rivers are underground for a way, and then on top of the ground, running through caves above ground for a while, and so you can go tubing on these tubing through the cave networks. It's wild. It's a very slow, gentle experience, but it's they're pointing out, over there we found some metal things, over there we found a skeleton.
Yeah,
there's lots of ceiba trees around those caves.
Yes, exactly, and that's the key connection. Ceiba trees, they love the water, and where you find a cenote, you'll find a giant ceiba tree. And it's because Xtabay sucks the souls down into the underworld. It gets bigger and bigger, and this giant pool of death forms right where she dwells.
Wow. Well, that tubing experience is different now in retrospect.
Yes. I'm glad you emerged out the other side.
I'm glad my husband emerged.
Yeah. It really changed the experience for me of cenotes because they are so beautiful. It's like straight out of a movie, so magical. They really feel like you're in another world. But also, when you know the stories and when you know how the Maya experienced the cenotes for so many centuries, it's a little bit like, this is beautiful, but,
Well, I compared him to Goonies and Pirates of the Caribbean last time, right? It is that. It's beautiful and...
Exactly. And we actually now know, we know that it's the spirit of Xtabay, which is creating these cenotes by sucking people down into the underworld. Biologists and geologists, unfamiliar with the existence of Xtabay, would say that these ceiba trees, they are the crucial ingredient, that they actually create the cenotes because of their crazy, strong, and extensive root system. The roots of the trees are searching for water, and they actually dig deep down until eventually the stone collapses in and it creates the cenote. So the fact that you see a ceiba tree at every cenote isn't a coincidence, that that the one is actually causing the other. Also, though, besides Xtabay, there are also small spirits who inhabit the Yucatan Peninsula.
Ooh.
It's not only at the cenote, it's only at the, would say, monte or bosque. How would you say?
Forest.
Yes.
Yeah.
And at the night there is not people at the forest.
Oh.
Because there is too many, como se dice, como criaturas, como
Creatures?
And these are spirits of the land itself. They're sort of caretakers of the Yucatan Peninsula, and they have existed for, they go back as old as time. And these two, Jesus says, definitely real.
Awesome.
it's called like different things. For example, the aluches. Aluches is like a small spirit. It help at the agriculture, all the, for example, the corn, the
farming.
Yes, and yes, it is farming.
Yeah.
Yes, it's for to save this, and it comes only the night.
Oh.
Yes. If there is a place and there is this spirit there, and when somebody wants to come or to get in at this place,
if you're accidentally approaching the place where the Alushas are, they'll warn you.
like other
They'll toss
with
like a
one-
single
one-
stone, a little pebble.
one rock. It's like a, please don't do it. Please don't do it. And when you
And since they're helpful spirits, they'll warn you when you're in danger anytime.
to make something at these people, it's like a bad air or something like that. Yes, and this is true because
When Jesus was younger, he and his buddy, they were like getting ready to go swim in a cenote.
to go to this place or this is cenote or so. And one time,
And then out of the blue, one little pebble.
one rock to
hits his shoulder.
to me. One rock. Next, my friend, one rock.
And one little pebble hits his friend's shoulder.
When it started, it was only us. So what happened? So let's go. It's not place for us. We need to go with the whole. Yes.
So, this was at the beginning of my exploration of the Yucatan when I heard these stories. And it really brought the landscape to life for me. Kind of logged it away, like, wow, what a way to see the world that Jesus lives in, and the spirits of the land. And there's actually a spirit of the forest also.
Oh, cool.
It's Yumbalam. Yum or Yumbalam. It's in Spanish is Padre the father of the yes of all the forest. Yes.
Every 4 years, they leave a feast in offering to the forest itself. And Jesus' family has been in charge of cooking the feast. His dad is the chef.
Cool.
The offer is to the forest there. For example, you have some chicken or some pork there, just to kill it to make the meal. And this meal is for the forest.
So they really brought the landscape to life. And as we were exploring after visiting with Jesus, Shelby Durant was with me. She was my audio tech on the Zazzle episode who got stung by a bee.
Right.
If you're familiar. So Shelby Durant was with me on this trip, and we were exploring a cenote that was just especially piratey. It was very dark, lit very dimly with these blue lights. It was just so straight out of a movie, and it was a cave system that just goes on for miles and miles. And she had an experience.
Ooh.
So I just want to bring Shelby in here for a second to share her experience with us. She agreed to tell us. Hi, Shelby.
Well, hello there.
Would you kindly share with us your experience that day inside the cenote? Please and thank you.
As you know, the cenote that we visited was in the middle of the Mayan jungle. It was so in the middle of the Mayan jungle, in fact, that when I got into the guide's truck to drive there, I stepped on his machete, and he said, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Let me move this." And I kind of gave him a funny look, and he said, "Oh, don't worry. It's for jaguars, not for you." And he was not joking. That is how in the middle of the Mayan jungle we were. So we made our way to this private property that had an animal sanctuary on it and the cenote in it. And there was one other person working in this area. No one else was there. Our guide took us to the cenote, which was probably at least 2 floors below the earth, and we descended a winding staircase down. And if you can picture it, it was big and open with a giant dock-looking thing in the middle. And on the left side of the dock, there was a staircase leading into one body of water, and on the right, there was the same. And then surrounding the dock were little benches. I can't swim, so my plan was to enjoy the ambiance and read a book while everyone else swam in the cenote. Everyone gets their life jackets on and jumps in the cenote, and I make my way to a comfortable bench. And just sitting there, it was amazing. It was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. You have the stalagmites and the stalactites, and they're eerie but beautiful at the same time. It's dark, it's quiet. All you can hear is just occasional dripping. And even though everyone was just probably 15 feet from me, maybe, I could hardly hear everyone. Because it was so quiet somehow. I was being vain and decided that this would be a great Instagram moment. And I took out my phone and I was taking selfies when I felt all of a sudden someone watching me. I looked over my shoulder and I saw this woman, and I immediately was embarrassed because I just got caught taking selfies in a cenote by myself. And I remember thinking, oh my gosh, she works here and she just saw me taking selfies. That's so embarrassing. And I looked again and I realized she was gone. And I realized at that point there was no way anyone else could be here because only 2 people work here.
Yeah.
Both men, and everyone is in the cenote without me.
How did you feel? Were you afraid?
It was incredible. I remember not being afraid of her. I remember she was small. She just looked like a shrunken down version of a normal sized person.
That's what they say.
She was wearing a white dress. She looked like she was Mayan. She looked nice. She just was peeking at me from around one of the stalagmites. But as I sat there trying to figure out what I saw, I started getting creeped out. Not because of her, but because I started remembering stories that sometimes these small spirits would wait around and warn you of oncoming danger.
Yes.
And so suddenly the stalactites and the stalagmites are looking really creepy, and I'm starting to wonder if this is a portal to the underworld. And so I ran up both floors of stairs to the jungle, and I waited in the middle of the jungle by myself until everyone was done swimming.
I remember.
Getting eaten alive by mosquitoes.
Yes.
Because I was very worried about what this small spirit was warning me of.
And we all came back and said, where's Shelby?
And I never found out what it truly was.
It was an Alusha. Of course it was.
I guess I'll never know.
Yeah. She saw what she saw.
Wow.
She saw it. Shelby is absolutely convinced. And I'm a little jealous.
Yeah.
I would love to see with my own eyes. But we do have some interesting corroborating evidence, or at least some very mysterious associated archaeological evidence. Maya archaeologist Nicholas Helmuth has been collecting data around the Yucatan for years. Pieces of documentation found inside 300-year-old ceiba trees. Sometimes the ceiba trees are so big they're almost hollow inside, and you can just walk inside it and move around. And he has found evidence of human habitation inside ceiba trees.
Wow.
And he's got lists of zoological species that live inside the trees.
Cool.
Maybe that's as close as we're going to get, besides seeing it with our very own eyes.
Wow.
That Xtabay and the Aleutians, they live in the trees. Another link to this story that we have today is the famous Yucatec liqueur called Xtabay.
The Xtabay. Yes, it's the mix of the scent of the Xtab and Utzcolel.
Oh.
And it's made with the flower, the same name, Xtabay.
Oh. It is made from, they say, the two flowers of the sisters. It's made from the Xtabay and the Zacam flower. So it's a combination of sweet and stinky into one liqueur.
Yes, this is a sweet liqueur. It's like anisette.
Yeah.
Yes, just like anisette. It's made.
That's it?
Yes, it's Xtabay. Well, here in Valladolid, there is a factory.
So, of course, had to go straight out and buy that. And it is really good. It reminds me a lot of ouzo. It's anise-flavored liqueur, extremely sweet, but also sour or sad or something. It's made from the story of these two sisters.
I believe in these stories because I think here in Yucatan and to do things relax, not like
not too much.
Not too much, like yes. The message of the history is for all the people. It's not only for the men. Because at the night we have like a time to go and to be like relaxed.
For Jesus, it's a story of temperance, story of learning to temper yourself, which kind of brings me back to the beginning. We all have darker impulses. We all have that monster within. That's what Halloween is all about. Where we get to explore that and face it. So this story to me asks really big questions about what makes a person good, what makes a person evil, and is the trick in containing that monster within, or is it in channeling our potential for evil? It seems like we all are Xtabay and we are Utzcolel. And maybe like the liqueur, Xtabay, we're a bit of both. But if that's the takeaway, then it is delicious. A mix of both. As long as you never have anything too much. The end.
I love it.
Special thanks to Jesus Antonio Cupul Cetzal and his family for bringing us the story of Xtabay. Music for this episode was composed by Roman Cano, Musica Maya, Dan Bodan, Kevin MacLeod, Ricardo Lozano, and Esther Abrami. You can travel with What'sHerName in 2021. We are taking 2 women's history trips to visit the guests and the sites featured in our episodes, 1 trip to Britain and 1 to Greece. Find out more and sign up at what'shernamepodcast.com. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, where we post all kinds of additional content each week. Wishing you a very happy season of spirits and death. Thanks for donating. Thanks for listening.